All right, there's the giant fish and there's the giant dragon. And the dragon is attacking the fish. And you have Google Earth, so I'm not going to get too crazy about this. But they are both decaying in the desert, dead and, decaying in the desert. That's the bleed off of bodily fluids from a dead, basically decaying gigantic dragon. And there's the scales of the dragon's throat. And it just runs down and down and down and down and down and down and down. Now, there's a gash right here. And it's bleeding out there. Now, what could have possibly cut the throat of this dragon that it runs from here to here, 1,000 miles or more? And it was in an ocean or a sea which ran out through here over the top of the fish and everything at the same time, all this drained. So that was a dragon who lived in the sea. And it's exactly what it says in one of the ancient texts. It said, and he will kill the dragon who lives in the sea with his great and mighty sword. Now, I am finding things that are written in the ancient texts, in the Bible, in all of the ancient texts, that are absolutely true. I can see the evidence they're true. So don't tell me to shut up about this stuff. Because if you could talk about a Big Bang and about all this evolution and everything else, and I can't talk about what's really here on the earth, you go your own way. Stay away from me. Now, I know I get a little hostile, and I am hostile because of Yale and Harvard and all of these ones that we put our trust in. Let me show you. If you won't accept DNA certified evidence, PCR tested, deep extraction, very well done, about creatures that existed that they consider rocks, like this goose. You see the pattern of his feathers right there? That's a goose. That's his neck. Died laying like this. I have giant human beings. I have bones from all kinds of creatures. Giant, normal size, every different type. Yale refuses to allow these to be seen. Everybody's, oh, take them to Yale. You go right down the street, 20 miles away. They refuse to look at these. Even though I presented DNA certifications, CAT scans, anatomist certified it as well. I have done the chemistry. I have recreated the process, and not a single university will look at these. None. Zero. And Yale absolutely refuses to engage, other than to say, go find somebody that understands rocks, if you can believe it. After showing them all these things, what kind of a world do we live in now, when this is the kind of education that is forced on kids, and then they have to pay, and then they have to agree to every single thing they say, or they will destroy them and keep their money. Absolute disgrace now. Unbelievable. Okay, my friends, this is the problem. Peer review is, you have to do what your peers tell you, or they'll destroy you. And they know it now, and they're starting to, they're going to have to come around. False theories will remain dogma simply because no one is allowed to challenge them. Exactly my stuff. And I have things that destroy everything they're saying, literally everything. As soon as they open and let me start to talk, they are in trouble. They know it. That's why I am silenced. How many new and potentially successful concepts or ideas never see the light of day simply because peer reviewers decide to reject publications out of fear for their own reputation and livelihood? Lots of them. Beyond the lamentable enforcement of conformity in academia through hiring practice, social pressure, now even the anonymous peer review process may be perverted into active censorship of unpopular ideas. Absolutely 100% it is. No question whatsoever. I have been censored in the most egregious way for 8 years. Now, the peer review people, they fear for their own careers, absolutely, because they will 100% be destroyed by the people that claim to be looking for truth and have no respect for truth whatsoever. Giant fish in the desert, giant dragon in the desert, not a single one will speak of this other than to say it's not there, we don't want to talk to you because you're crazy. And if you look at it, it is very, very difficult to dismiss this. And we have many, many other sites that are also equally gigantic, and this thing is 1,000 miles long. And it was written in the ancient text, specifically in the Bible, about dragons and all of these things. And that is what is the problem with peer review. They will be destroyed by their friends for talking about God because they don't like God. Now, I have more abilities than anybody that I have spoken to. I'm cited in 140 highly mentioned papers. I have hundreds and hundreds of mentions. I understand chemistry. I understand biology. I understand atomic orbitals, and I understand the nucleus now, which is not protons and neutrons. It is electrons. It's called electron flood theory. I've been doing this my whole life. I will stand toe-to-toe with anybody that wants to talk about any of this stuff, and I will crush them. It is time for reality. I am not allowed to speak because they cannot stand in front of me. Not a one of them. I have giant human beings, totally certified, DNA, CAT scan, anatomist, 100% certified. This is where we had the CAT scans done. Probably one of the best places in the world, Jesse Garant and Associates. Absolutely fabulous work.
Allows for a 5-point cloud data capture on external geometry and part.
They know what they're doing, trust me, and they were fabulous. Good things about them. Now, you see here, look. See all this different, you can actually see the fingernail part. I mean, you can see everything. And then they did, I mean, and now this was the palm that fingertip came from. And then Gil Hedley, who's an anatomist, he was the best I could find. He was the only one that understood fascia. And when I first started, I thought it was fascia. I called it fascia-facilitated fossilization because fascia coats all of the organs and everything. This bone is 100% coated with, the ancients called it tunica. We call it periosteum. It's really fascia, is the webbing fibers that coat everything in life. Even this bird head, even the feather patterns, even the feathers are made out of this fabric. It's called fascia. Well, it looks like fascia. It's a fabric. Let me put it this way. It's fabric. Fascia is normally a webbing that coats all of your organs, and really it's the coating that separates everything from everything else. Let's just go with that. Now, so then Gil did a fabulous job. He was the only one who understood fascia. Now it's one of the most important things there is in the human body. And then I had Helix do the biology, the DNA, and there was Homo sapien mitochondrial. Very good job. No problems here. No contamination. And then on top of that, we've been doing work, Rod Warren and I, accelerating light. That's light. That's the acceleration of light. And I think I might have showed this already. There's no question it's accelerating. They won't talk about that either. Not a single word will anyone allow spoken. And I went to the University of Geneva. I said, let's talk about it. Nope, don't want to talk about it. I went to Johns Hopkins for genomics. I said, let's talk about my mud fossils. Nope, won't talk about it. Not a single word from these people. Unbelievable. All right, this guy has it right. You have to you have to say this is false, and I can prove it's false. You can't just dismiss something.
Falsification was to be a convention that required scientists to agree not to adjust a theory to accommodate test results, but when falsified, to start over with searches for alternative theories.
True ignorance is not the absence of knowledge. If you're not knowledgeable about something, that's okay. You can gain knowledge. Real ignorance is a refusal to even examine. And that's what Yale, Harvard, and all of the top institutions are doing now. And their peer review is nothing more than incompetent scientists covering for other incompetent scientists. That's what it's come down to. Okay, my good friends, another day in argument land. I just had it out with another PhD about accelerating light. He says, you can't accelerate light. If you could accelerate light, you'd get a Nobel Prize. I said, I don't care about a Nobel Prize. I said, could care less about that. I could accelerate it. I could show it. He says, well, if you get that peer-reviewed, of course they're not going to peer-review it. You can see it, but they have to agree that they will allow you to be seen. This is absolutely unbelievable. The academic society, they are nothing but a mob. Einstein says you can't accelerate light. If you can't see that accelerating, you are the most incompetent person on the face of the earth, or you are a bald-faced liar. That is accelerating, and if you can't tell that there's a particle in there, you are either blind or, again, an incompetent or a liar. Okay, my friends, when you get your sheepskins now, you also get blinders, because you're going to need them. Again, you're going to have to turn your eyes against reality to make a living in this world, because of the academics that own you. They possess you in every single way. You have to be totally dominated by them and complacent and compliant, and you can go out and make a living. Otherwise, you're done. Got to change.